of North Texas at Dallas. And the topic that I chose to talk about today is fish consumption bans and restrictions in Texas. And I'm going to be focusing on Galveston, Texas. The reason why I'm going to be focusing specifically on Galveston, Texas is because Galveston, if you live in Dallas or you've lived here for a long time, you know that people love to go there for beaches and stuff, for a quick, fun family vacation. So that is the reason why. Like I said, I do apologize for if I'm going too fast. I've tried to do this 4 times already, and I've had no luck, and it's doing 20 minutes. So, fish consumption in Texas. As Texas grows, so has population. In 2023, we had over 400,000 people move over here. The reason why is because people think that Texas is cheap, which is really not. So you guys should really stop coming over here because inflation is crazy. Okay, keep in mind that our minimum wage is still 7.25. So people move here, and what does that mean? That means we have more visitors, right? So one of the main things that people come here for is, like I said, it's cheap. We have beautiful rivers, creeks, and lakes that are located all over Texas. And, these lakes and creeks and rivers are great for family time and for swimming and all of that stuff. And they're also great for fishing, which is what a lot of Texans people love to do. Some people do something that's called catch and release, which is when you catch a fish and you release it back into the wild. Those are people that fish just to admire the fish, just as a hobby. You take it as something that's, relaxing and stuff like that. It does hurt the fish, obviously, because they're hooked on. So even that's something that I don't really agree with. But anyhow, others, however, catch fish to go home and to take it home and eat it, right? So, fish is very expensive. Seafood is very expensive. So some people like to save a couple dollars and they just catch it instead. They just want a quick dinner. They just go to a lake, catch a couple fish and go home, cook it up, etc. Um, Now going back to Galveston, Galveston is a city in Texas, obviously, where many tourists and Texas people love visiting during the summer. Why? Like I said, because of its beaches, right? It has so many beaches. When you go to Galveston, if you drive by the bay or the shore, you see so many different entrances to these beaches, but all the beaches, they all end up in the same place. It's all one beach. They're just different entrances where they make you pay for whatever reason, the government, economy, whatever, who knows why. But it's allowed. So nothing we can really do about it. But yeah, there's just so many fishes and not fishes, sorry, beaches on that side. And people love to travel there during the summer for a cheap and fast vacation, spend with their time with their family, especially people in Dallas, or people in Texas in general. Some people are like 4 hours away. I know I'm like 3 hours away from Galveston. So, if you don't want to buy a ticket to Florida, for example, to go to the beach, you can just drive to Galveston for the day, go really early and then come back at night. And then, you got yourself a beautiful vacation with your family. Um, there's also a Galveston shore or bay, which has many roller coasters, many different games, attractions, different restaurants, souvenir shops, etc. However, over the years, Galveston Beach hasn't been impressing Texans people due to the high tides, waters, pollution, fishing, and trash. I did go in October and it wasn't really what I was expecting. That was my first time going after many, many years. It's really, really dirty. There's a lot of trash, a lot of dead fish. It definitely smells like fish a lot, which is not really a good thing for me. I don't really like seafood or fish in general. Um, but when I went, there was definitely more people fishing than there was swimming. People actually pay to go fishing, and there's so many fishers there. They catch the fish and take it home. How do I know that? Because they had coolers, right? Um, if Unless they had like sodas in there, and most of them had like 5 coolers, which I'm assuming is for fish. So if you don't know what Galveston Beach looks like, this over here is what it looks like. This over here is what I was telling you guys about. It no longer looks like this. Now there's like a bunch of signs with different beach names, different companies charging you to go to the beach. But like I said, it ends up in the same beach. This is what it looks like from the sky. And these are the attractions that I was telling you guys about. It doesn't look like this anymore. But these are a couple photos that I found on the internet. So the area that I'm gonna be focusing on specifically for the fish ban consumptions and restrictions are Galveston Bay, or the Houston area, because it's 3 hours away from Houston. It's in the Houston location. This over here, this map shows do not eat. It shows the baby blue, dark blue, and the green. It shows any species of catfish that you should not eat, any species of catfish, spotted sea trouts or blue crab, any species of fish or blue crab, and major roads. So this map, what is technically showing you are the areas that where you should not be eating fish from. You shouldn't. It's an advisory, it's not really a restriction or a ban. It's more like, hey, I'm letting you know you should not be doing this, right? But they're not liable if you decide to do it anyways, and you end up in the hospital and you end up sick, right? So there's so many chemicals of concern. However, the main ones are the dioxins and PCBs, which I hope I'm saying right. The dioxins, I hope I'm saying that right. English is not my first language, so I apologize. So the restriction is that persons should not consume any species of fish from these waters. However, people are gonna do what they want to do and they're gonna do it anyways, which is why it's an advisory instead of a ban. Even if it was a ban, people are gonna find a way to do it anyways, right? Um, even laws that even things that we shouldn't be doing because it's illegal, people are still finding a way to do those things. So I don't, like I said, people are gonna do what they want to do, right? So continuing with my presentation, why are fishes such a huge concern for Galveston, Texas? Many of these lake creeks and rivers in Galveston contain many different harmful chemicals that I was mentioning earlier to not only the human body but to fish and the environment. Chemicals like dieldrin, dioxins, mercury, PCBs have been found in almost every creek, river, lake in Galveston, Texas. I meant to put Galveston, but that is true also in almost every lake in Dallas. At the end, I am providing a reference that I use for a lot of my information, and that just technically tells you about every single lake, creek, or river that has a lot of advisories or restrictions on it. It tells you the fish that you shouldn't be consuming. If you are allowed to consume the fish, it tells you how much you can consume of. It tells you what age you should not consume that fish, and if you are of age, how much you should consume of. Uh, what creeks, rivers, and lakes you should not consume anything on. It's really, really educational. I used to go to so many of those lakes, and now I'm no longer going to. It also tells you the chemicals that they contain. A lot of them consume mercury and PCBs, which can cause harm to the brain and the nervous system. So, I definitely advise that you guys check those out. Anyways, moving on, but why so many fish consumption bans and restrictions? When fishes are living in these waters that are infested with harmful chemicals, over time, fish can take in those harmful chemicals that are in the water, as well as any disease that the fish can get from the food they consume, right? So when you go home, you go to the lake, you catch a fish, you decide, hey, I want to, go home and cook this fish. When you eat that fish, you are eating everything that they consumed in that water. All the chemicals that they consumed, you're consuming those chemicals. All the diseases that they have, you're consuming those, which is why a lot of people get sick whenever they eat fish from that they catch. So if you eat these fishes that are living in those conditions, there's a very high chance that you'll get sick. um so when you're consuming these fishes, you really have to make sure that you know what fish you're eating, because some fish are venomous and you should not be eating those. Um, but when people see a fish, even for me, when I see a fish, I'm like, that fish looks cute. Let me eat it, right? Obviously not, but that's just how some people think. Um, what would happen if I consume the fish anyways? The reason why I included that is because, like I said, people are gonna find a way to do things, whether it's legal or not, or there's restrictions or bans. So if you consume the fishes anyways, consuming chemicals like mercury and PCBs can cause harm to the brain and nervous system. This can lead to trouble in other systems of the body that can make you sick or even result in death. So the body is all connected, right? If your nervous system starts failing, something else is gonna start failing after that. So it's just gonna keep going like a domino effect, right? One thing fails and nothing's gonna start failing after that. Mercury and PCBs and all those other chemicals that I mentioned are very, very, very harmful for you. So if you're consuming those, I would go to the doctor. That is all I really have to say because it's due in 15 minutes. And I still have to convert it to a video. Is there a solution? Sadly, fish consumption bans will probably continue until air pollution declines, which is the main solution for fish consumption bans, because that is what is creating all these chemicals to get in the water. However, the earth is fighting many other different environmental issues right now, which makes it almost impossible for air pollution to decline, not only in Galveston, but all over Texas and the world. Um, Air pollution is something that doesn't only connect to fish consumption bans and restrictions, it connects to everything else. So if air pollution doesn't decline, fish consumption bans will probably only get stricter from now on. And, there might be a point where we're not even allowed to fish anymore because it's probably going to get so bad. Air pollution hasn't declined in a long time. If anything, it just keeps going up. Um, and sadly, that is mostly the only main solution that I've found for fish consumption bans and restrictions. As for Galveston waters, people are still advised to not consume the fish caught in the Galveston Bay. While some fish are okay, there are multiple restrictions on how much someone can consume in a month and what fishes are not allowed to be consumed at all, which, like I said, will be included in the reference website that I am including at the end. I will show you guys what website that is. What can we do? The earth is our home. We only have one earth, therefore we need to take care of it. With that being said, some things that we can do to find a solution for fish consumption, both bans and restrictions, are the following. A lot of things that are I included are mostly aiming towards air pollution, because that is a solution for fish consumptions bans, right? So try walking, biking to places instead of driving. When you drive, you release so many toxins into the air, which causes air pollution. Reduce the usage of wood stove or fireplaces. Avoid burning any materials, including leaves and trash. Care for trees. That's where we get our oxygen from. We gotta take care of our nature. Switch from electric equipment to hand powered lawn equipment. Reusing items like plastic bottles, bags, and boxes. It is not ghetto to reuse those things. Okay, we, as a Latino, I reuse everything. Okay, we reuse bags from the grocery store. We use them at trash bags. We use them at lunch boxes. We use them to pick up our dog's poop. Obviously, we don't reuse those. We throw those away. But there's so many ways that you can reuse those. You don't have to go to the grocery store and buy bags when they're giving you so many bags that you can use. Boxes right now we're moving, we're using so many old boxes that we had. They're come in handy. Plastic bottles. When I go to the gym, I just take a plastic bottle, and I just, instead of taking five different water bottles, I just take one, and I just they have those little machines where you can just put more water in it. You're saving the earth. You're not saving the earth, but you're doing your part. You're trying. The more people that do that, the more people we save. We save the earth. And then lastly, following education and health guidelines, meaning don't consume any fish in Galveston Beach, and don't consume any fish that shows on the website that I am going to show you. Don't consume what it doesn't tell you to consume. Okay, they're telling you what to do, you just need to follow it. Okay, this is kind of like quarantine, when people were told not to go outside, and what were people doing? They were going outside. um so many people died because of it. It could have been avoided, but anyways, if we don't do anything, if we don't do anything, then that is the end of our earth, people. Air pollution, like I said, is the main solution for fish consumption bans. And that's not even the most important environmental issue. There's so many other things that are going on in the world that we need to fix. And if we don't do anything now, it's just gonna keep getting worse, and we're gonna get to a point where there's no return, right? There's nothing you can do to fix it. You can't go back anymore, right? This problem isn't only a Texas problem, it's something that will affect the entire world as we know it. If we don't do anything, these harmful chemicals will continue to spread all over the beaches, oceans, rivers, etc. It will kill our animals, it will kill our water, it will kill our earth. What do you think all the wild animals are getting their water from? They're getting it from rivers, creeks, and lakes, right? What do we eat? We eat meat. So when we're eating those animals, we're eating everything that they're consuming, right? So that is only gonna affect us as well. It's a food chain. We're part of the food chain. So whether people like to admit it or not, we are part of the food chain. We consume those animals, and we consume what they eat. And if we don't do anything, then it's gonna end up affecting us as well. Um, and that's when people are gonna be mad. And that's why they put this bans and restrictions to avoid that from happening. But like I said, people are gonna do what they want. Anyways, these are my references. I do apologize if this video was so rushed. Like I said, I tried to do it 4 times already, and it was not recording for whatever reason. It also took me an hour to figure out how to do this video. So the website that I was talking to you guys about with the fish consumptions, that it shows you all the creeks, rivers, and lakes in Texas in general that have a lot of bans and restrictions is going to be on this website right here. It is updated, so you guys should definitely check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys learned something from this. You guys have a good day. Thank you.